South Carolina takes down the Confederate flag. Is this really the point of it all? Today on Talk Radio, news, commentary, entertainment. God bless you. This is the Reverend Dr. Gilberto Rosado. I'm always saying God bless you, so obviously I'm in the habit. I just recorded some other commentaries, and so I'm still in the Christian salutation. But this is Talk Radio, and today's topic is going to be about the Confederate, so-called Confederate flag. We're going to discuss, is this really the point of it all? Is this the point of it all? It's part of a larger series of discussions that I'm going to have, pointing to the reality that we're all getting duped. We're all getting duped, okay? And I'm going to go into a little detail about that. It's going to be alarming when you realize that, there are people that are trying to control things. They're playing, like the stock market. The stock market, there are certain people who play it. And any type of interaction and social factors, game, people trying to gain things. You hear it often in terms of the sexuality and relationships and things. We have terms like player, he's a player, this and that. They're playing the game, or it's a game. Sometimes even in your own relationship, you get a feeling that somebody's playing with you, right? We have these terms, and because they come from a realization that things can be played with, our emotions, our persons, our private persons, our feelings. These are things that we may often get or have all the time a fear of. People playing, others playing with our emotions, others fooling around with our feeling. And the reality, what we have to come to understand is that just like people play games with balls and, with sticks and with tiles, and letters, and other things, okay? So you understand that games, the grown-ups, and I don't mean that by age, I mean it by intelligence. The grown-ups around us play games with bigger things, you see. And everything, if you look at things as game pieces, and the world around us is full of game pieces, land, it's like we create games from reality. But if you look at it a certain way, which is what we're doing today, isn't reality a game that can be played as well? In other words, why not play Monopoly in real life? As a matter of fact, Monopoly as a real life game is illegal in the United States in most parts. It's illegal to monopolize. Okay, we make a game of it. but realized that monopoly was the way business was done before it became illegal. Monopoly is a phenomenon of capturing or obtaining control over many things, especially the things that benefit a person. You want to monopolize all those key things to, in other words, to gain a benefit from it. We do that ourselves. I mean, when you go to school and you educate yourself in a certain arena, a certain specialty industry field, you are monopolizing to that degree that information for your benefit. You are keeping that in-house. You're making it in-house, making it yours so that you can profit from it. That is monopoly in a micro sense, in an individualized sense. But think about it. Just think about it. The potential for either government or private individuals, or a group of individuals, a group of governments, a group of businesses, think about this, trying to play the game, and we are the pawns. We are the ones that they're trying to control for their benefit. It's like a farm. A farmer controls the animals on his farm for his benefit. He keeps them happy. He provides them food and shelter and medical treatment when they need it, all for the sake of his own benefit, profit, not for their sake. They're not his pets. They represent profit. So it's for his own benefit. Now, what's to prevent, or what makes you and I think that the government or groups of individuals or peoples or businesses, that entities, that they are not trying to farm the land as well? What makes you think that somebody or a group of people with a brain aren't trying to farm the greatest asset of all time, which is people? Simply, you need to understand that we can be cattle. It is something that the Bible, I'm going to talk about this now because this is a sensitive issue, that the Bible also hints toward in a very interesting way. But this, you can easily see how it can be abused. And what I'm trying to say, this Confederate flag thing just brings this debate to the open. And we're going to bring it out here now. And that is an issue because it has to do, again, the Confederate flag. We have the slavery issue, the black Americans who feel as a group that they have been underserved, abused, enslaved, and then obviously still being considered or attacked. And so that is a reason that this has to come into play, because they're feeling like if they're animals on the farm, if they are animals on this farm, they are getting abused. I mean, if any group in this United States have ever been treated like cattle, without debate, they have been. The question is, are they still being treated as cattle? And the larger question is, are we all being treated as cattle in one way or another? And that is what this question about the Confederate flag brings into our consideration. And we're going to go into that more deeply right after the following announcement that I'll be playing right now. Blue Umbrella Vacation, Limited Liability Corporation. What is so special about Blue Umbrella Vacation? They're personal and group planners. That means they will take quality care of you. They take care of each account, and they give you personal service and individual service. They are cruise and Disney specialists, and in fact their offices are right next door to Disney. So and I know for a fact that they've helped clients and brought them to Disney themselves, and even provide daycare services for the children. You know, sometimes you and your wife or the adults want to get on adult rides, and you know, who's going to watch the kid or the kids? So Blue Umbrella Vacation will help you by providing care services within the park, and will take your children around to have you know, their day and their time with rides, and they will accompany you as well if you just want to get on a ride yourself and have the kids wait for you. We provide all of these services. That's very, very great services, by the way, so you should take advantage of that. And they also provide romance therapy escapes. I myself have the Escalov, and we provide therapy escapes, tours, and on-site therapy here in Florida. When you're making your trip down to Florida, you can have some counseling and other types of therapy to enhance your relationship. That is available exclusively at Blue Umbrella Vacations. Free planning and booking services. As you know, there is no charge for using our services, and your vacation will cost you the same if you did it yourself or if you did it through us. And in fact, let me correct myself, it may not cost the same. In fact, you may save a few $100s. You never know. We can always try to find a better deal for you and make a better vacation for you. So either you'll spend less money, or you'll spend the same money and get something so much better. So Blue Umbrella Vacations is able and experienced to help you in these areas. Free custom group registration website for those of you who are developing groups or who have a group and would like an expert to handle that group for you. You don't have to do anything. There's no work involved. We make it easy for individual, corporate accounts, and for nonprofits. We have the free fundraising program as well. We create and manage that for your organization, or for charity, or for your cause. We also create free marketing videos for group presentations and for any type of creative you need. We have a full video studio that can create videos to help you promote your group event. So you really have no reason not to call Jenny Rosado right now to plan or transfer your trip. You may have already booked a trip. You may have a cruise already booked, and you know, by calling us, you never lose anything. We may be able to save you some money and then make a better cruise for you, or you'll never know if you don't call. Call Jenny Rosado, 888-502-8279. See, she saved someone $800 just the other day. Call her today at Blue Umbrella Vacations, 888-502-8279. And make sure you ask about the free travel club. It's an exclusive Blue Umbrella Vacation travel club where Jenny and her husband, my person, Gilberto Rosado, we help you have your vacation, the best vacation you ever dreamed of, become a reality at very low cost or even for free. So make sure you join up to the free travel club, and you do that by calling Jenny Rosado at Blue Umbrella Vacations, 888-502-8279. That's 888-502-8279, 888-502-8279. I think we're all duped, and I think that groups of people or government, business, they all have a vested interest in keeping people duped, and this Confederate flag issue is just one of them, and we're going to see why. Talk Radio with Reverend Dr. Gilberto Rosado. News, commentary, entertainment. Thanks for joining with us. We're going to discuss in this segment exactly the evidence that I have for claiming that society is being duped, and groups of society get duped, and why you need to be looking if you're in a group that's being duped, and at what level are you getting duped. Now, I don't mean to be alarming, but at the same time, it is talk radio. It has to be entertaining and interesting. So, of course, I'm going to do that, while respecting the integrity of what it is that I'm saying. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am a psychotherapist. I don't think I know much of if there's much of a difference between that two at this point. But in reality, I understand what it is to manipulate someone else's thinking. I do understand that. I understand the dangers of that, and this is why I'm pretty keen in or sensitive in identifying those attempts when I see it. And this, a few things in recent time here in the news, the Confederate flag, amongst other things, contemporaneously with that, or contemporaneous with that, shows has given up a lot of evidence that the country and society, if not the world, is continually being fooled by those who wish to control and benefit from them. And these things, these so-called issues are just obfuscations, flack, if you will, flack, in order to divert people from the real matter, from the real solutions, because the real solutions would disenfranchise, if you will, those who have authority and power. And we're talking about money here. Bottom line is money, it's control. And so the more people know, the less control these other entities will have. So what is this thing with the Confederate flag? It's nothing more than an obfuscation, because in reality, what does that flag, how does that flag disenfranchise, how does it impoverish, how does it impede Black Americans from progress in this country, or even in the States, as in this case in South Carolina, which, just by telling me South Carolina, I have in my mind that there are a great population of Black people there. I don't see where is it that this flag has impeded them in 2015, has impeded any Black American from achieving, from progressing, from becoming successful. I don't see where that flag as a symbol has inhibited, had any power. more than, and this is I think the case, a case in point, more than the practice of looking for these false issues as rallying points for Black Americans and those who want to benefit from Black Americans getting rallied up. Um, not to the degree that that has done the damage, because if you rally behind these non-issues and you don't focus on the real issue, isn't that doing harm and damage more than the Confederate flag ever did? So I'm looking at the fact that there are more people, the black people are more disenfranchised and hurt by these groups, by these rallies against non-issues, things that don't matter really to the progress and success of the Black American. That's the thing doing more harm to them than the flag. The flag at this point doesn't do anything. It's just sitting on top of a pole. Really, people living their lives, it don't matter. Now, of course, they'll point out to this guy who shot in the church over there. He had a flag on his jacket. And the question that I pose is, now that we've removed this flag from the South Carolina State House grounds, does that mean that there's not going to be any more hate crimes against Black Americans? Does that mean that people committing hate crimes against Black Americans are going to do so without a Confederate flag on their persons, tattooed on their bodies, emblazoned or engraved on their jackets or whatnot? Is that what this means? Because I don't see the connection. I don't see anything that's prohibiting any hate group from using this flag in any shape, any way. I mean, how is this going to make a difference? But more than that, it doesn't do anything for the Black American population. It's just a rallying point that somebody's profiting from, and the question is who. People need to ask the question, who is profiting? Since I'm not getting a real benefit, if you're a Black American, you got to sit down and ask yourself, I'm not getting any benefit. Now that the flag is down, am I benefited in some way? The answer is no. But somebody is. You have to understand that. There's always a benefit to anything. And you need to understand that when you are not getting a benefit, somebody is. It's not you. And there's no Black American that's really having a benefit from this. Okay? The only ones who are profiting and benefiting from this are those that are in control, those who have power. Okay? And these are the ones who want to keep their control and power. These are the ones that are benefiting not just from the flag issue, but from all of the non-issues that they have people, Black Americans, among other groups, engaged in day in and day out. They have people engaged in issues that are non-issues. They're far from the point of what matters. And all this does is keeps people busy. It keeps the farm animals busy while the masters make money. And so the animals people think that they're busy, that they have a cause, that this and that, and it's really just all control. This is just, entertain yourself with this cause, entertain yourself with that cause, and, make yourself believe that you are doing something when in fact you're not doing anything. You're just wasting time and wasting life because you're not dealing with the point. With the Black American, there's an issue here, simple. Many of you have gotten it, and but still the majority of you have not. And that is simply that the Black American has one issue, and one issue only. And that is that they were enslaved, they were brought here as slaves, and certain promises were made. And simply, those promises were abused and were not given the way, in the spirit in which they were offered. And this is the point that most of the Black American groups and people and even churches are not dealing with. They're not dealing with this point. And that is the only point. And that is exactly the point that those who are in control and those who have power don't want people to be dealing with. And they don't want you to deal with that, because by fixing that or solving that issue, it lessens their power and their authority, because it gives more autonomy to the Black American. And that's exactly what they don't want. They want the Black American, they want the American Indian, they want the Hispanic American, and basically all types of ethnic groups to be subservient, to be needing the government or needing the help of others, not to be self-determined, not to be self-sustaining. They want to make it overpowerfully so. They want to make these groups, everyone in the United States and around the world, they want to make you dependent. And this is if there is a conspiracy, that is where it's going to be. They're making you, it's called, the nice term for it is called consumerism. In other words, everyone's a consumer and everyone's a worker, like a beehive. All you guys are worker bees. And that's that. That's all we need here. And so this is where the pressure of society, the mindset of society is placed, inculcated by culture and by all the forces at the disposal of those in the know. And the result is a compliant population that, like on a farm, their cattle is herded, they get the milk when they need it, they have reproduction as they need it, they have the products, and they take to slaughter those that need to be slaughtered to have hides and meat and whatever byproducts there can be to sustain those in the power and authority. And it's basically that is all you have. And while you have all these subgroups, subgroups that because of their own, of course, survival, they need to benefit in some way from the system, from the situation, they have succumbed to becoming the capos of the enslaved, of the lower animals, in order to keep them in line, to keep them, make them happy, make those groups feel that they're doing something in society by chasing after these non-issues and not chasing after the main issue. And each group has a main issue. Most of the groups, most of us, the reality is that it's a matter, to put it simply, it's a matter of ownership. It's a matter of self-employment, self-determination, self-will, self-maintenance. That's the crux of the matter. Everything else is relenting control to another. if you are not self-willed, if you are not self-maintained, if you do not work for yourself and build things for yourself, you are working for someone else. And that is the bottom line. You see it the way you want to see it, but this black issue, so-called issue with this Confederate flag, is just another debating point that really has no point in it other than to keep people away from the real truth, the real thing that matters, and that is that the black American has to become self-maintaining and self-reliant, and they started off here on the wrong foot, not because of their own doing. It was forced upon them through slavery. This is something that was understood at the time, and a solution was handed out, okay, to make it right. And that was for the to make amends, in other words, for that misstep. That point is where everyone needs to go to. It is the only solution for the issues that all African Americans can point to. Whatever the issue you want to point at in your community, in your life, in reality, all of that, or we can put all of that together and find that the solution to it is, and always shall be, that amends be made. What they refer to as the reparations, to repair, to repare, which is to re-equalize, re-normalize the black American with the rest of America, with what it is to be American. And that issue of reparation is and shall always be, until it's done, the only issue. All these other things, the Confederate flag, this other thing here and there, whatever it can be, all of those things are the distractions. They are distractions purposely, I say it again, purposely fashioned in order to make the African American and every American feel that there has some validity, that's a real point, when in actuality the only real point is reparation. That's it, period. Reparation corrects the need and addresses the need and addresses the cause of that need that every Afro-American today is suffering from in some way, shape, or form. Absolutely. And so, again, any group that is not dealing with the issue of reparation is engaging and participating in the control and the continued disenfranchisement of the black American. Simple. Know it. They may know it, and they may not realize it also. I'm not condemning all of them, saying they're doing it on purpose. No, but the teaching and the education that they're being given is supporting the overall ideation that power needs to be maintained by those who have it. When the reparations came in through Sherman on the field, his instructions, to make reparations for the black American slaves, what came after that was a taking, a reconquest of the power and authority that was handed, or was promised to the black American, and was taken back, grabbed back by those in power and in control again, through their tools, through their mechanisms of finance and whatnot, and they regained again. They took back what was supposed to be given, and since then, no one wants to deal with this issue of repairing the damage that was done. And that means to bring things back to equality. There is none. There will not be until this issue is dealt with. Not the other issues, okay? You got rid of the flag. That doesn't do anything. Unfortunately, the day came, it went. You're still in the same problem. You see, and that will continue. You have your leaders that continue talking, they continue saying this and that and going for this cause and that cause, and still nothing is changed. Look at what it just pops up here on the Google News. It says the South Carolina lowest Confederate flag, and it says an era ends. See, an era, E-R-A. That means a period ends. So what's the period? What period? What? That the flag was flying on the state ground? Big deal. The black Americans still, his problems have not ended. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post it right now on my Facebook. Because, you know, this is, again, it's nonsense. Nonsense, and people are falling for it. Hook, line, and sinker. This is amazing. I'm going to put here. But the abuse continues. Okay. And I put it on my Facebook, but the abuse continues. Okay. And so, again, because I need people need to understand that all of these non-issues are exactly that. That is not the point. That is not the point. So this is, you know, you have this Confederate flag issue. You have a few other issues affecting other groups of people on both sides of the aisle, if you wish. And really, the point is not being addressed at all. So the point is that the Confederate flag does nothing to address the reality of the black Americans' plight here in the United States. It doesn't mean nothing. Okay, it means nothing. It doesn't change anything. Nothing is changed. Nothing will change except a flag that flies on the state ground, and that's all. And so, you know, it's a shame that with all the things that the black American can unite for and can fight for, that they have a right to fight for, they choose. You see, you guys are divided. That's another tactic. They divide the black Americans into different groups, okay, for different causes. You see, you get my point? And because you're all divided in different groups and for different causes, the main power play, the main monopoly, is not being addressed. And that is the trick. That is where Black Americans are being duped. It is where other segments of society are also being duped. Because I can point out to other groups and other issues that are exactly the same character as this Confederate flag issue in relation to the issue, the real issue that is obfuscated and not dealt with. And so this is what is happening in society. I don't know if I'm rambling on over on the same point, but I'm trying to be careful as well, because I don't want to I don't want to point the finger yet to you know, I just want to bring the alert, bring awareness to in this show, today's show, to the Black American community, that you guys need to unite on the issue. And that issue is the normalization of your state as an American citizen. That is and always has been the issue. Not these other symptoms, these other little things that they keep throwing at you, and you guys keep, like piranha, you know, like bits of meat that they're throwing at you. This is not the point. And all it does, it divides you into smaller groups that they can control easier. But they cannot control. And what I mean not controlling means that they have to give up control to a united force. This is the danger that the country was afraid of with Martin Luther King. That was the fear, and you can read it in the writings of the FBI director and other politicals, when they feared this massive unity of the Black American. That is what they feared. And they figured that by, of course, by cutting the head off, well, then everything else will fall apart. Again, after they cut the head off, what they did was throw a whole bunch of other issues to further divide and help to disperse the crowd. This is smoke. It's a smoke bomb. And you guys have to understand that it's a psychological, it's a macro psychological or social psychological smoke bomb. It is intended to disperse the unified group away from the main point. And that is what this Confederate flag this issue is all about. They could have kept the flag. It's dumb. If they want to be identified with ignorance and stupidity, let them. But to pretend to say that intelligent African Americans are somehow damaged by their stupidity, you know, you guys should be offended, really. You don't need me to say that. You should be offended. And you should bring the discussion back to the point, which is reparation, which is bring us to a normal state of citizenry here in the United States. And that can only occur because you guys have been shortchanged from back when, and they kept you down. They have not allowed you to get up as a people. Individuals come through the cracks as long as those who are in power and control maintain it. You see, so they will allow that so that you guys can believe that, you know, hey, everything is fair and equal here. The fact is that it is not, because you're starting off behind everyone else. You understand that? That's why it's not the same. Yeah, the opportunity is the same for everyone, but you're starting off. The only thing that the black American's starting off behind everyone else. And that is where you guys have, it's not even a handicap, right? You're giving superhuman consideration. Of course, you have to be Superman in order to come and meet up with the rest of the crowd to supersede what you can. That's the big thing about this. You can. But they're trying to make it as hard as possible for you to do that by diverting your energies into other things. So the black American has to really open your eyes and begin to understand the myriad of ways that the powers that be are keeping you in a state of control. And that is something that we're going to continue to talk about as things come up like this. I'm going to come back to this topic because it's an important one, and it not only affects the black American, but it also affects other groups and minorities in this country. It's automatically, you come into this country, you automatically come into a system. Okay, it's like when you go into Golden Corral and you go in and you're corralled, which I find offensive. But anyway, it's their queuing system. I understand that. But you know, that being corralled, that is the mentality of those who are in control. All groups that come in get corralled. We get put into a funnel, and that's their way of controlling, of having power and authority, and maintaining their space and not sharing their space. They don't want to share their space. Again, the space is the thing that's limited here on the planet. We have limited space, really, and the wealth has to do everything with the space there is. So they need to control their wealth and grow their wealth by controlling the access to the space, as well as those who are there. In other words, those who are there are cattle, they're chattel, they are assets to be monopolized and to gain profits from. This is what is happening around you, and the black American, as well as other peoples, need to realize this before you go after the next issue. Think about it. Think about really what the point is. What is the benefit of this issue? If this issue is resolved, does it benefit me? Because if the answer to that is no, then it means that somebody is benefiting from it. The thing is, it's not you. And likely, it's not 99% of the people around you that also want to support that cause. This is what you have to realize. Okay, it's part of a greater system that is diverting your energy, your life, your attention, your understanding from the main point, which confronts and will adjudicate their control and their power and their authority, which because of that is illicitly gained. Thank you for listening. I'll talk more about that in another segment. This is the Reverend Dr. Gilberto Rosado. Talk radio. They're calling me already about this. News, commentary, entertainment. Thank you for joining us, and join me next time.
1 to make a payment, press 2 to connect the manager.